Yep, I actually used an 808 to enhance an acoustic guitar. Come on now, what other channel shows you tricks like this? Let's take a look at it. And hello everyone and welcome back to MixBuzz TV mixing and mastering tutorials on YouTube. I'm your host David, and if you didn't already, join us on Facebook and Twitter because we are going to start a new series soon called Ask About the Mix, and we will collect your questions from those pages. But let's get to the trick of the day. I used this mix in a previous video. It's a vocal and acoustic guitar only track. It's a cool cover that you all recognize immediately, and because the way the artist Simon plays the guitar, a percussive part along with a melody, I had to use several tricks to make it sound the way I wanted. Some of them I showed you in other videos, but the one I'm showing you today is quite unconventional. I've never done it before myself, and I've never seen anyone doing it either. Speaking with the artist about the sound he and I wanted for the song, one thing he asked me was, "Hey man, I want the percussive part to hit really hard, to pretty much dominate the track." I said no problem, and mostly as a joke I added, "Worst case scenario, I'll use samples." But later on I thought about it, and it didn't sound like a bad idea if I could do it right. And so after trying a few things, I ended up with this. To enhance the kick part, I used an 808 kick. I picked one from Boom, the stock instrument that comes with Pro Tools. I carefully tuned it, very important, adjusted the decay, printed it, and the processing required after that was minimal. And for the snare part, after trying a few acoustic snare samples that were way too obvious, I picked a side stick samples instead. After printing them, there was the most important thing, phase alignment. I had to phase align them with the guitar, especially the kick required a lot of attention, and I've done this the good old way by chopping each hit and manually align it. I'm fast, so it wasn't a big deal. I tucked the two samples underneath and you can hear the result. It's very natural. The general population wouldn't even know there are samples in there. Let's listen to the mix really quick. Okay, so as you can hear, the end result is very natural. Probably 99% of the listeners won't even know that there are samples in this song, especially 808s. But let's see, what did I do? So the first thing that I had to do was to transform the WAV file, the hits, in MIDI notes. And to do that, I used the Massey DRT. And I'll show you really quick. I'm not going to do it again right now, but you select the track and analyze it. And once you're familiar with this plugin, it's very easy to isolate pretty much all the hits, all the tall transients. You see you have a loudness window here and a sensitivity windows on the right. And you move the loudness bar here, in this case, to select only the tall transients. It's very easy. If you want, you can adjust the dynamic and the overall velocity. And once you're done, you simply drag and drop this in the track list as a new track. And as you can see here, now I have my MIDI notes underneath the guitar track, which are the kick and bass. What did I do after this was to copy the MIDI track. You can see it up here, and remove on one track the kick part and the other track the snare part, of course, so I could trigger the 808 with one MIDI track and the snare side stick with the other. I used Dramagogue for the side stick, and I used Boom, like I said before, for the 808. And these are my settings. I tuned the kick to the key of the song. I adjusted the decay, and after that I printed the 808, which is here. You can hear it. And the processing after this was minimal. It was just the SSL, just because I put the SSL channel on everything, and a little bit of saturation. Free from Softtube saturation. Great plugin. Without it. I did the same thing with the side stick part. I printed it, and the processing after that was minimal. A little bit of saturation, actually a lot of saturation with the URS and the SSL. Again, just for the saturation and the gate, because it was a little noisy otherwise. And the most important thing was the phase alignment. As you can see, this track is named Snare GOG Timed, and I have another playlist underneath that, which was the original. And if we zoom in, we are probably gonna notice, see, this is the sample before my editing. And if we tab to transient and go through all the samples, you see the timing is a little off on some of them. And in order to precisely align the samples, you have to do it manually. There's no way around it. I printed from Boom and I printed from Drumagog. Or even if you use any other trigger plugin, you need to make sure that you align the samples to the original tracks, to the acoustic tracks manually, if you want to make sure they are in phase and they sound good and they are not mistriggering or stuff like that. Especially with a sound like an 808, with any sound that has low end content, phase is everything. I'm not going into detail about manually aligning the samples. I'm not gonna show you in this video. It's a whole nother subject. Don't hate me. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments, Facebook, Twitter, and I can make a video specifically about it. So let's listen to the track without the samples. Let's add the 808. Let's add the side stick too. Let's do a quick with and without. So this is not really a technical video. Once you have the idea, it's pretty easy to realize it. It's pretty easy to do it in Pro Tools. You just have to have the idea and the taste to pick the right samples. But I hope this will give you ideas to experiment with different sounds and different things, and also experiment with what you're not supposed to do. You know, because so many cool sounds in studio came out from mistakes or things that you're not supposed to do. So don't be afraid and experiment. This is it for this video. I hope it was useful and I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to click the like button. Catch up with us on Facebook and Twitter. Support MixBuzz TV by sharing the videos on forums, blogs, social media groups, personal pages. Subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.